Hey guys, in this video I want to show you how to glide in 2018, showing you all of the gliding techniques you have to know and how to practice them, so you can glide as far as me or other stunters out there. Because so many people have kept requesting this gliding tutorial, I decided to finally make one, because so far there's no gliding tutorial out there which really shows you all of the gliding techniques and so on which you have to know in order to hit all of those crazy stunts. And now I'd say let's just start with the three types of glides. And as you can already see, the first type of glide is the so-called speed glide. As you can see, for the speed glide you have to hold your front tire a lot above your back tire. And as the name already tells you, that's a gliding position you especially need when you're doing a double bump after that, where you need a lot of speed. But when you do a speed glide, you of course lose a lot of height. In the following I'm gonna show you an example how to use the speed glide. But first of all, especially for the beginners, if you don't know yet how to hold your glide, all you have to do is just make circles with your left stick if you're using a controller. And if you're using mouse and keyboard, you just have to push and pull your mouse all the time to hold your glide. But in my opinion, it's actually way more comfortable to stunt with a controller. So right now I'm gonna show you a clip of my buddy Shadow, and that's a very good example when exactly you need a so-called speed glide. As you can see, he's just bumping off the highway, and after that he's using the speed glide to glide into the canals, and after that he just does a very cool wall climb, and because of the speed glide he still has the speed he needs to land on top of this building. Shout out goes out to my buddy Shadow again for this crazy stunt, and I think you understood now for what you need the speed glide. So now let's go on with the second type of glide. The second type of glide is just the basic balanced glide. As you can see, my front tire is still a bit above my back tire, but it's still not a speed glide, because that's the exact position which you need in order to keep your speed and your height. So this means if you're going off a bump and use this gliding position, then you can go for the maximum distance. So especially for single glide spots where you're not using a double bump, this is the position you need. But sometimes you have to combine it with the third gliding position. But first of all, I want to show you another example of the balance glide. So as you can see, this is one of my clips where I'm going off this hill, and after that I'm using the balance glide position in order to keep my height and also speed, so that I'm in the end just able to stick the landing on top of the water tower. If I would have used a speed glide, I wouldn't have enough height in the end, so the balance glide is exactly what you need here. And by the way guys, feel free to use the spots I'm showing you for the certain gliding techniques to practice your own skills. So just go to the editor, create your own race, and then you can easily practice it. And the last type of glide is the so-called brake glide. As the name already tells you, this is the gliding position you need in order to brake. That means losing height and losing speed. And as you can see, this gliding position is the exact opposite of the speed glide kinda. My front tire of the bike is under the back tire. You might ask yourself now, if I don't need height and speed anymore, why should I not just release my glide completely? And that's actually a very big mistake. Because if you would release your glide completely, you have way more speed than with this gliding position. So that means if you are not using anti-fall, you would just crash. But using this gliding technique actually helps you a lot, losing speed and height, but minimizing the chance to crash in the end. And also for this gliding technique, I want to show you an example of course again. That's also one of my own clips again, where I'm just bumping a ramp car. Then I'm just using a normal balanced or speed glide. And in the end, I am using the brake glide in order to lose some speed and height, so I can get a very smooth landing on the very top of the flame tower. Crazy stunt by the way. To be honest, I used anti-fall in this clip because nowadays it's really hard to stunt without anti-fall. If you want to stunt without anti-fall, you have to go to the director mode. But even when you're using anti-fall, landings look always cleaner if you use the brake glide. Because if you would just release the glide and crash directly into the building, it doesn't really look clean and cool. And yeah, as you could see, for many stunts you actually have to combine all of these three stunting techniques. Especially very long glide spots require all of these techniques at once. Sometimes you just need a speed glide in order to keep your speed for a nice double bump. Then you need a balanced glide to keep your height and speed. And then you sometimes need the brake glide in order to get a smooth landing. And if you're wondering which bikes are perfect for gliding in general, I can just tell you number 1 BATI 801, number 2 HAKUCHOU, and number 3 RUFFIAN. Those are the typical stunting bikes still in 2018. Of course, you could still use other bikes, but in my opinion, stick to those 3, then you're okay. But now, if you wanna reach very far distances with your bike, gliding won't help you alone, because it's also really important to have enough run-up. And that's really a mistake that many people make, especially beginners. Instead of using a long run-up, they are for example using boosters or anything like this. And actually, boosters are slowing you down in the end. A long run-up, guys, is always better than using boosters or anything like that. Rather drive on a 1 kilometer run-up, but then get a very good bump, than using a 500 meters run-up, getting more tries, but not reaching any distance. And if the spots that I already showed you are not enough for you to practice your gliding, I now want to show you one spot which you can always use to practice holding your glide, doing all of the different stunting techniques and so on. And that's the so-called Mount Chiliad glide or MAFIA-GLIDE, because Mafia Stunting was actually the founder of this glitch. So as you can see, you can just start on top of Mount Chiliad and use this hill to get your first glide. And for the first glide, you actually mainly need a speed glide, because then you have to go for a double bump. And if you're doing everything right, after this double bump, you can just glide infinitely. To do this, you need a balance glide and sometimes a speed glide, but no brake glide yet. Because then you can just glide to any location you want to. And for example, just before landing something, use the brake glide in order to lose some speed and height and safely land on top of it. And that's actually already everything you need to know about gliding, guys. And don't worry, by the way, if you can't glide instantly. Being able to glide really requires a lot of practice. Showing you the best gliding positions and also some stunt spots where you can practice them is actually the best I can do, in my opinion. I've been a stunter for over 4 years now, and back in 2014, when I started stunting, it took me a few months to learn all of this. And there was no one out there who showed me all of those gliding techniques. So I'm sure if you practice all of those techniques with the stunt spots I showed you, and actually there are thousands more stunt spots which you can use to practice, then I'm sure you can learn gliding in a few days or weeks. So I really hope that this GTA 5 gliding tutorial was helpful for you. If it was, then don't forget to leave a like on it, share it with your stunter friends. If you want to watch some more stunting content and you don't want to miss anything anymore, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet. So yeah, be patient guys, practice, and I'm out. Bitches.